Hey, you fucks. Thanks for, checking out the videos, showing a little bit of support. How about you take it to the next level and show us some love over there on Patreon, huh? Huh? Huh?
Yo, 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 what the fuck is up, everybody out there on the YouTube source? Go by Papa Tikyo, coming to you live from another home rant here on the ADVJapan channel. Konnichiwa, and welcome back to another hot sexual Japan podcast, cheap-ass podcast. It's funny, like, what dictates a podcast, Is it like fancy audio equipment? Is it like doing a lot of editing in post, to make the audio sound as crisp as possible? Is it like storytelling or something? Is it having sponsorships? Like, what really dictates a podcast being a podcast? But besides just somebody in a microphone and recording audio, I want to know. What is it? Because I guess if it is just somebody with a microphone and they have like kind of like a serialized series, what is it? Yeah, I guess series, right? Like they have a serialized content that they put out there, right? Then I guess that would be a podcast. I don't know, but anyway, we're here and it's ma'am. So yeah, thanks again for joining me today, guys. It's a nice, slightly cold. It sucks. It was like nice and warm earlier, and then it just got cold. Again, it sucks. It was warm for like 2 days, and then it just went bleh, like back in cold, and I'm like, rah. But either way, it's cool. I'm sitting here. I'm under my kotatsu. It's nice and warm, and I have a backlog of all of these different rant titles, or rant themes or whatever that I wanted to go over, and I have like two folders. Like one folder is the rant thumbnails that I didn't make yet and that I want to make, and then the other one is the one that like I already finished. So I try to record rants that are usually on the finished thumbnails and stuff, so it's easier for me to, it's less work once I upload it. But yeah, this is a rant that I've been wanting to do for a while, and the last like 2 or 3 rants I was just kind of going off cuff a bit more than it's not that I don't like it, it's just like I don't like the fact that I made all these notes and that I wasn't using them, I guess, if that makes sense. So, no, but it feels good. It feels good to, like, I have, it's not even that many notes. It's like 8 bullet points or whatever of stuff that I wanted to cover. But, it's nice to, it's cool because, like, I have, like, these kind of charts in my journal. I look at the pages that I didn't write a bunch of stuff on that day. Like if half the page is unwritten, then I'll just fill it out with other notes, and then like I'll put some sticky notes in there so I remember. Oh, okay, like this is like yellow is for rants, blue is for like Japanese study or something. It just depends on how many like scattered notes I have that are in the same category, kind of thing. But yeah, anyway, this is whenever I finish like recording one, I usually color it in to be like, okay, I finished that table chart, whatever you want to call it. Like I finished that one, those notes already, so I can move on to the next topic. And it's nice, it's cool. By the way, how are you guys doing today? I just it's funny. I have a German buddy named Jacob, and I think he's still in Japan. He's been here just as long as me, and if not more, and probably longer. But anyway, like I remember, before I got into coffee, and I'm not even into coffee. That's like not even that. But anyway, point is like he would always like sometimes when I was when I first started working freelance, I would like message him and say like, "What's up?" And he's like, I'm on my third shit, my third coffee shit. And I'm like, what? And he's like, that's what I do. I own a business, I bodybuild, and I drink a lot of coffee and take shits. And he was always so proud about how much coffee he could drink throughout the whole day. And I was like, God damn. But yeah, he'd always say like, round 2. Like, we'd be in the middle of like a Skype call or something. He'd be like, round 2. And then like, yeah, okay. But now after becoming a coffee drinker myself, I understand exactly what it is to be at home and drinking multiple cups of coffee and then just crapping your guts out. And it feels good, it feels great. And but anyway, it's in the 4-minute point here, so let me just shout out the self-sponsored stuff. Get away from the coffee crap talk for a second, guys. This channel is entirely 100% fan funded. It's either I don't get enough views on these videos, which is fine, or I say the F word too much, and YouTube's like, nah, no Google AdSense on that. And so they cut me off. So guys, like, if you like the content and you like seeing this on a weekly basis and you want to help throw Dad some dollars to keep going and keep doing these projects and, you know, whatever, etc., then I really appreciate it if you guys went over to patreon.com/TKOSam. Unlike other YouTubers, I actually have some, like, good content there for you guys to enjoy. Stuff like, you know, my behind-the-scenes blog, behind-the-scenes B-roll that I upload, but also, most importantly, Japanese lessons. If you guys ever even thought about coming over to Japan, just simply as a tourist or whatever, Japanese people love it when you've gone out of your way to actually learn some of the phrases. You don't need to learn a lot, you don't need to be super fluent, but they definitely appreciate it. And if you guys already like Japan and you're already doing stuff that's Japanesey, then why not do the extra step? I mean, like, you don't even need to study Japanese with my stuff, but if you like my videos, then that means you probably like how I talk. And if I made something that is educational, if you guys can sit through a rant of mine, you can probably sit through a little bit of a language lecture. And I have a whole program over there that gets you, a lot of programs, they just take you from 0 to intermediate, and it's usually beginner intermediate most of the time, because they know that most people quit learning Japanese in the middle or in the beginning of it because they don't have a community based around it, and also it's just snake oil. It's just there to, it's Cheetos. It's if you feel like you're eating a lot, but it's all just fluff bullshit. And my lessons are based off of the method that I used to learn Japanese, and that was all Japanese all the time. And unfortunately, he took the website off, so I'm kind of continuing it in the spirit of it. And yeah, and it's, if you guys still want to look up how to do it yourself for free, you can do that. But if you want to pay me money and have me explain it to you in ways that you'd understand a little bit more easily, then go over to patreon.com/TKOSam. Links down below. Also, if you don't like Patreon, you can become a member by pushing that join button next to the subscribe button. You can become a member and you get access to emojis and access to a secret part of my Discord. And if you become a higher tier member, you even get your name in the video. But if you go on Patreon, you'll get your name in the video anyway. So go over, check that out. And yeah, the big shout out to everybody who drops a super thanks or a super chat in the during the live streams or in the comments section. You guys are badass. I love it that, you know, it's just you guys are like, yeah, hey Dad, here's some reverse child support. And I'm like, thank you, son. Thank you for your service. And anyway, a big shout out to the super chat of the week. Boom. Yeah, this guy has giant, massive titanium New York Balsensteins, and we thank you for your service. Thank you so much for your service. Hell yeah. I need to update the emojis on the ADVJapan channel. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't yet. But yeah, I love the fact that we've got this community of just like funny ass people who are just like, yep, thank you for your service and all this shit, you know. But yeah, anyway, yeah, today I wanted to talk about why you should get a motorcycle and why motorcycles are badass and why people need to shut the fuck up about talking shit about motorcycles and that it's ma'am. But yeah, so anyway, shite. What are we gonna start off with first? Well, I guess it's like, I'll try to talk about my evolution, or what do you call it, my story into getting a motorcycle, and then the specifics about how to get a motorcycle, and not just like, you know, like how to get one. I mean, like the license process, and then also like finding a motorcycle and any of the paperwork bullshit you have to do. I mean, I want to ramble and rant a bit here too, but I also want to be kind of comprehensive with this stuff. I'd like it to be not just like a motivating rant on why you guys should consider getting a motorcycle, but how to as well, you know. Like I remember being younger and I'm like, okay, look, let's just assume, like I always tried to tell older people when they were explaining shit to me, and they're like, well, just figure it out. And sometimes, guys, like being a young guy, you just got to ask questions. And luckily, thanks to Chat GPT and stuff. Like, you don't need to ask an older person who's like very lazy and just like not caring about answering your question. You can ask something like Google or Chat GPT these days. But still, I'm here to not only encourage you to get a motorcycle, but I'm going to tell you how to. And I remember I used to say, think of it as just I have no creativity and I need you to explain it to me in autistic detail like it's a Gundam with Dark Side Phil. Just to think of it like that. And so today, I want to go through steps. So first off, I didn't have a motorcycle or a scooter. I had a car when I first came to Japan. I was kind of lucky because most people, they come to Japan, and I thought I was going to be in Tokyo. I applied for a bunch of jobs off the top of my, off the top of my head, randomly, when I first came here, because my friend suggested that, well, hey, even though you don't plan on coming to Japan for another year, you should go for job interviews just to practice, of these companies, so you're prepared when you come back. And anyway, this one job, they were like, okay, hey, we'll hire you. And I was like, wait, what? And so that kind of threw things off. But I was young, and I was like, okay, it's time to try, and let's fuck around. Let's see how this works. And the company was like, well, actually, the job position that you originally applied for was in Tokyo, and we're sorry to say, but the position's already been filled. But we had somebody cancel on us last minute. So if you're willing to move to Chiba City, we will, we can, we have a job for you, pretty much. And I was like, okay. And, I talked to my friend that was living here. I talked to my friends back home, and they were just like, just fucking do it. I talked to my uncle, and he's like, yeah, just fucking do it, bro. And the only person who was against it was my college roommate, who was kind of pissed off. I mean, to be fair, I did give him 2 months of rent, so, 60 days to find a new person. And he did find a new person. Or actually, I think he ended up moving back in. Well, no. He ended up moving in by himself or something, or with a girlfriend. I don't remember, but the whole point is that it turned out fine for him. But yeah, so I decided just to take the plunge and just move here. And I was just like, okay, fuck it. I don't really have that much stuff back home anyway. And it's so, in retrospect, I'm really happy that I was really poor up until coming to Japan. I mean, I'm still poor, but I'm really happy that I didn't do any massive collecting or something that would have been like, oh no, I need to go back to America because of my stuff. I had a VHS collection, but it was all cheap VHS. It wasn't rare or anything. So I didn't really care. And my brother got my computer and stuff and all my video games. I was like, it was basically like hey, thanks for going and cleaning up my mess. Either your payment is you can take any of this stuff and sell it or whatever, it's yours now. And yeah, I had a pretty decent video game collection too and everything. But yeah, fuck it, right? You only live once, kind of thing. But um but the big caveat is that I wasn't expecting to move here, and on top of that, I wasn't expecting on to move to outside of Tokyo if I did move here. And so my friend at the time was like, dude, you're never gonna learn Japanese if you're in Tokyo, so you should take the job in Chiba. And I was like, but Chiba, I looked at there's no good bus system or train system. How am I supposed to get to these schools if I can't even, And he's like, well, you have a luckily I was smart, and before I came to Japan, I thought that I might rent a car for a trip or something. So I went to AAA and I got my international driver's permit just in case I was going to rent a car, in case I went to the countryside. I don't know. I thought it wasn't a clear thought in my head, but I was like, what if I went to Gunma or something and I drove some initial D cars or something? Wouldn't that be cool? And I never actually did it, but since I had the international driver's permit, my friend, luckily my friend at that time who lived in Japan, he's like, dude, I just got this this awesome new job, and I forgot where he was moving from, maybe Yamanashi to Kofu or something, but my buddy, he got this new job at this Japanese company as their live-in English teacher. It was like a compound. I don't know. It wasn't it was like a factory, but it was the white collar part of the factory. And so the company provided, I guess, I don't know why. Like, I don't think they have this kind of job position anymore. But they gave my buddy a new car. I mean, it wasn't his, but, like, it's the company car that he could use. And they gave him a fully furnished apartment. And everything was basically an upgrade from what he used to have. I don't know. Maybe they had, like, some toxic work environment. Because, like, I don't know why you'd want to leave that place. I mean, to be fair, it was in the middle of nowhere. Like, middle of nowhere, Gunma. There's shopping maybe like 30 minutes or an hour away, but there was nothing, you know? But yeah, so my buddy upgraded all this stuff, and he's like, look, I have all this like old crap from my place. If you come up to Gunma, or was it Yamanashi? I can't remember exactly, but he's like, if you come up to where I am, I'll just put all this stuff in the car, and you can come and you pick it up and drive it back to your place in Chiba. And that was my first time ever driving in Japan, and I drove for, like, there was no GPS, right? Like, no smartphones, nothing, and I just had maps, and I don't know how I did it, but I ended up doing it, and, I was surprised that all of that shit fit. Like, he gave me a futon bed, he gave me a couch, he gave me a refrigerator, like a microwave, I think even a TV, there was, like, surprisingly, I was able to jam, like, I was able to use every part of the Buffalo for that. But, yeah, and somehow I made it back down to Chiba. And, yeah, and I had that car. I had a little K car for, like, the first couple years of being in Japan, or it being in Japan in Chiba specifically. And if you want, a K car is basically a car that has like a motorcycle engine in it. It's a very small car. It's not powerful, but because it's like, I think because it has like the same size as like a motorcycle engine in the car, it has like, it gives off less pollution or whatever, less emissions or whatever. And so because of that, everything's cheaper. Like the gas, like the mileage is way better on the car. And like the insurance, the taxes are a lot cheaper because you're just driving a little bitch ass go-kart pretty much. And anyway, I had that car for, God, I don't know, 3.5, 4 years or something. And I didn't have a name for it, but God, I remember I'd be driving on the highway with it, and I would just like feel big wind, like gusts hit me sometime, and I'm like, oh my God, like my car's gonna tip over. Like, Japan has these highways that are lifted, like, you know, like 50, 60 meters above the ground and shit. And I was like, oh, my God. Like, what if wind hits me? It's just going to push me off of here and I'm going to die. And it's like, I don't know. Like, my first car in America was a 1973 Coupe de Ville Classic Cadillac. And I bought it for $500 used from my buddy's dad. And that was a giant tank of a car, you know? That's the kind of car where if it gets into an accident where somebody hits it, their car gets hurt while you're like, what happened? You know? And then I moved from like that extreme to like this tiny little bitch ass like kite sized car. But the car was good, you know? It served me well. It had great gas mileage, and the shock end on it was the emissions test that you have to take it through was really cheap. It was nice. But anyway, while I was in Chiba, one of my good friends, Mr. Ishihara, he was this guy who was a hunter who really helped me out. I randomly ran into him when I was on a walk with cats, like my buddy who helped me basically learn the method to learn Japanese. We would go for walks sometimes, and we were going on this walk through the woods, and this old guy was with 3 dogs. Like 2 Western dogs that looked like those hunting dogs with like the kind of long fur. That I don't know. There's a guy called Stinton Johnson on Twitter, and he's a American guy who's a hunter here, and he has the same kind of dog. So whatever that dog is. And then they had a Koga Inu. I think it's called Koga. It's basically a Shiba Inu, but it's all black, and it was very, what do you call it? Like, it's just, for some reason, those ones were better for hunting than the Shiba dogs. I forgot why. But anyway, yeah, Mr. Ishihara randomly started talking to us, and cats didn't want to do anything with him because the guy was speaking English to us at first. But at that time, I didn't know that much Japanese. and it just boggled my mind that we're in the middle, because it wasn't like the woods of like the countryside like that. Right now, if you go to Chiba City, everything's very developed and they have a lot of apartment buildings everywhere. But back then, all those apartment buildings were not there, and it was just kind of like wooded areas that were like waiting to be developed, right? And so Mr. Ishihara starts talking to us, and then I find out that he's not just like this cool Japanese guy, but he also went on a world trip in like the 60s. And I was like, what? And he told me all this stuff. Like he went, he used the train, he used buses, he used boats. Like it was straight up Shenmue type shit. And like he had so many cool stories. He's like, I smoked weed or something in Afghanistan, and or I guess hemp or whatever, or not hemp. What's the other one? The oil one. Anyway, he smoked that one. Hash. He smoked hash, and he like shot, like he did hunting over there and shit. And I was like, I remember that was in that movie Babel or whatever. Oh shit. I wonder if they talked to him about that. But like, you know, and I was like, maybe this guy's lying. But no, he had pictures. I was like, oh shit. And you know, it was really cool. And then, you know, I found out his daughter was married to an American guy. And it's funny, their kid right now, she's in college, and I sometimes talk to her because I'm like, you better go and say hi to your grandpa. You know, he misses you. But anyway, yeah, Mr. Ishihara, he did so much good stuff for me. I owe him so much. And but one of the cool things he did randomly was that he was a guy who knew guys. You know, he was a guy who knew a guy who knew a guy, and he was always getting free shit, you know. And so one of the free things that he got was a scooter. And like he was basically he was quote unquote in waste management, you know what I mean? Hold on, let me get some water here. Ugh. Oh, that's some good stuff. Mixing green tea with lemon water and ice and putting it in your 3-liter thermos. It's so good. But anyway, Mr. Ishihara, like, he was this guy who worked a lot. He started a big company, and then he ended up just like, you know, I guess retiring, right? I mean, like, he was still getting money and stuff, but he just didn't work anymore. And so he had passion projects, and so he would get what was it, like he would get like what do you call it, like he got a pilot's license, he got a boating license, he got a truck license. And I'm like, why? And he's like, I'm just bored. I don't know. I want to fly a plane. So I was just like, okay, do it. And so it's so funny because this guy was like multi-millionaire, but you would never be able to tell. He dressed really, like he always smelled like fucking animal piss and shit, just from, because like he would be with his dogs and stuff, and they weren't like bathed for a while, you know. He kept them dirty, and then they would drive in the car, and then that smell would be in the car, and then it would be on him. So he had like a very musky, kind of like animal, like somebody who works at the zoo kind of smell. And he always wore really cheap clothing and stuff. But this guy, and he like used all this old technology. He made a lot of money, but then he just used it to buy like land and stuff, and then do cool stuff on the land. And so it was really cool. It was really fun. But he I remember one day, because like one of the things he also liked to do was he liked to fix things. So like people would give him old machines, they would give him motors and stuff, and then like he liked doing it. Like he was a real big like nuts and bolts kind of blue collary kind of guy. And I remember he got this scooter, and he was like, "Hey, Sam, you want a scooter?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? Do you want a scooter?" And he's like, "I got this a while ago, and I fixed it up, but I'm not gonna drive it. So if you want to ride it, cool." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." And it was this nice little green Vespa. It was kind of like the GTA. It looked exactly like the GTA Vespa called the Faggio. it was that one pretty much. And it was nice and green, and I loved riding around in that. He gave it to me, I think, after I moved to... I don't actually remember. He might have given it to me before I moved to the countryside in Chiba. But either way, it was really cool, because like when you move to the countryside, you don't really need to pay for anything, because there's just so much space. So like I stayed in this apartment building that probably had like 12 units, but it was just me and one other family, and so the parking lot was always empty. And so I would just, you know, I had my car, and then I had my little scooter, and but to get around town, the thing is that the scooter was 50cc, And I was like, do I need a license to ride this? And it's like, no, no, no. If it's a 50cc scooter, you just need a driver's license to ride it. Oh, yeah, and I guess I should say that, too. So, in order to drive a 50cc scooter, you need a driver's license. You don't need a motorcycle license, but you need a driver's license. Now, how do you get a driver's license? Well, when I first came here, I had the international permit. Now, international permits are only good for 1 year, and you can't just go home for vacation for a week or two, renew it, and come back. They have a rule that you have to be in the other country for at least 3 months or more. They basically, like, want you to, like, have to, like, you know, get out of your visa or something. I don't know why the thing is. Well, I guess it's just they want you to get a license, right? So, yeah, I had, like, basically a year to prepare before I had to get my driver's license. And I took the driver's license test. If you have the AAA, if you have a valid driver's license in America or wherever you are, then you simply just need to take it to the Japanese AAA, which is called JAF. And then they'll translate it, and then they'll you can go. It was such a fucking stupid process because my license had expired, but America, some of the states have a thing where you can be like, if you moved abroad, you can be like, oh hey, I need to renew my license by mail, and then they'll send you like a government sticker or something, and then you put that on the back of your license and it says this has extended it. And anyway, like it goes to show, like, a lot of these places, they don't actually have translators. They just have a translation template for every, like, for like all the different types of licenses out there, and then they just copy paste this shit. Luckily, when I got that translated, Katz was with me, my buddy Katz, who helped me learn Japanese. Again, Katz, best guy ever. And he was like, you know, they didn't translate the sticker part. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, this is a translation just saying your license is expired. I'm like, what? And he's like, turn the car around. And he went back there, and he gave them so much shit for me. And he's like, you offer a thing called translation services. Do you even know English? No. And he's like, how dare you offer a service to translate stuff when you couldn't even read the back of this that says that this has been extended for a year? Well, I don't know. And like, I just back then I couldn't speak Japanese, so it's like but hearing him just give them shit and then tell me about what he said afterwards, that felt so good. I'm like, yeah, so like you gotta be on your toes, you know, when it comes to this stuff. But anyway, if you get your license translated, then, because normally in Japan you either take the driver's test, which is a 100 question paper test, and you have to get 90 out of the 100 right. Now, luckily, this isn't like some bullshit kind of Google IQ test. I mean, they're pretty straightforward, but some of them do have stupid math questions where it's like, if you are exiting a highway exit and you are 90 meters away from that, how much should you accelerate to? Like, stuff that, like, what? Like, they just overcomplicate it just so more people fail. And but luckily, if you get your license translated, then, and I forgot, what was it? Yeah, if you get your license translated from your own home country, then then you can skip the paper test. They give you like a 10 question one instead, and it's like, do you stop at red light, yes or no? And it's like, yes. And they're like, okay, good job. Then you have to do a driving test. Now, take in mind, if you don't have a license back home, then well, I mean, if you're from Canada or like Australia or something, you just need to take an eye test, because apparently getting a license in those countries is pretty hard too. So you can totally skip the line of that stuff if you already got a license in one of those countries. You can Google it later or whatever and figure it out. But yeah, so that's a thing. You can do that. But if you don't have a license, then you have to start from scratch. And you can either go to Japanese driver's school, which will tell you, it'll basically teach you how to pass the test for the paper and the driving test. But the catch is that those usually cost $2,000 to $3,000, and they're pretty stupid expensive. So, yeah, but I mean, it's fun though. It's an experience, and it's like kind of a coming of age kind of, like, you know, activity for a lot of Japanese people. But Anyway, the whole point is though is that I did not have to do any of that. I just had to do the 10 question paper test, and once you pass it, I think it's valid for like 6 months to a year or something. So you don't need to retake that. But the driving test you'll probably have to retake a couple times, just because I heard that they love to grade you on a curve. So even if you got a lot of stuff right, they need to only pass a certain amount of people because they want the money. It's a money thing. So it took me about 3 tries, and it was nice. There was like this woman who she did the test right before me, and it's cool because like when you go there, you drive in the car with the other people. So if you are, and it kind of gives you like a chance to feel the road, you know, and get like, because you basically have to memorize a course, and then the guy will judge you for it. I'd like to go back and try it again, just out of curiosity, to see how hard it is and if I've changed. Because there were certain things that me and a lot of Japanese people don't do, and it's like, for example, like you have to stop on the white line. You have to stop while you're like the hood of your car is behind the white line, and I always drove my car right on top of the white line. And it's just all this stuff where they're like, no, you have to do it this way. But the cops never enforce those stupid little rules. And so I was doing those driving tests based on my experience driving. You know, it's like obvious stuff like don't crash into a car. Don't swerve all over the fucking road. You know, don't park in the middle of the road. Like stuff like that, you're going to learn that you shouldn't do that. But it's like stuff like in Japan, for example, if there's white lines on the road and there's yellow lines. If there's a yellow line, you're not allowed to cross it. And but if there's no cops around, you're not going to get in trouble for crossing it, kind of thing, right? And so it's like little things like this that you just like you got to just kind of brush up on before you take the test. Anyway, this woman took the test before me. I was in the car with her. She passed, or she didn't pass. She fucked up one part, but she did the whole test correctly for all the rest of that. So I finally passed. I got the license, and I was driving my car for after a year after my international permit expired. And Mr. Ishihara was like, "Hey, you know, do you want a scooter? It's 50cc. You don't need a special motorcycle license." I'm like, "Cool, fine." But I didn't know that with those scooters, there are a lot of extra rules that you have to follow that are not the same for cars and motorcycles. Like, for example, even if that scooter can go up to 50 or 60 kilometers an hour, or like per hour or whatever, right? You are only allowed to legally drive that for 30 kilometers an hour. And on top of that, you're only allowed to drive it on the left side of the road. And on top of that, there's I don't know what else. Oh yeah, you can't turn right. If you're at a crosswalk or whatever you call it, like a intersection, and there's more, like let's say there are 2 lanes on your side, right? Like you have like 2 driving lanes on the left or whatever, right? If you have more than 2 lanes, like if there's 3 lanes, you're not allowed to turn right. You have to go to the other road, stop, turn straight, and then go forward. It's fucking stupid. And anyway, because of that scooter stuff, I didn't realize that at the time, right? And so I almost lost my license 4 times. There's a thing called Yosei Shobun, and it basically means your license is suspended. And I was so worried. Like, you know, that's the thing too. Like, people are like, well, if you get into if you have any car trouble, like any car tickets or whatever, that might affect you getting permanent residency. And I was really worried about that because, like, I had probably spent over $3,000 in traffic violations before I got my permanent residency, right? And I was like, oh shit, this guy, like, I've had parking tickets, I've had some speeding tickets, I've like had my license suspended 4 times. Like, by the 4th time my license was suspended, like I had to go to this little court thing and tell them I didn't mean to, you know, like, sorry, I will quit. You know, like, I'm gonna get rid of my scooter and I'm gonna just get a motorcycle license because I'm sorry. And anyway, the guy let me keep my license. But yeah, I mean, like, so rule of thumb, guys, is that even though those scooters are cheap and it's easy to get them, I would not recommend anybody drive those because of the stupid fucking rules they have. And yeah, just go for a motorcycle license. It'll be better. So how did I get a motorcycle license? Well, I joined this school called, I hope it's right, I hope I'm remembering it correctly, called Koyama Driving School. And I joined it because that was the closest driving school to where I was. And coincidentally, they had an English program there, but I'm a cheap bastard. And also, I'm in Japan. I want to do everything in Japanese. So, they had English, like motorcycle classes, but they were only during certain times of the month, and they cost like $200 or $300 more to take that. And I was like, fuck that. And I hadn't ridden a motorcycle ever, so I'm like, it's probably good to go here. I've got the free time. And it was stupid, though. I went there during summer. Do not ever go to any outdoor school in summer, guys. Like, especially bike school. They make you wear these football pads and make you wear these jerseys that they never clean, and it's super it's just gnarly. And during winter it would be okay, but during summer, like, you get heat stroke pretty bad. Like, it's just disgusting. It's really bad. But you know, I was like, I wanted a fucking motorcycle license. So anyway, went there. I think I have a couple videos still on going to the motorcycle school. But yeah, I went there for about, like, I think 20 to 30 days for class lessons or whatever. And it's all right. It's a mixture of lectures and plus, like, physical actual practice. But yeah, you know, one thing that I really didn't like about the school, though, is that they would give you these, like, basically, this is why I really hate institutions for the most part, because it's like the racism problem with the Democrats in America. Yeah, I'm getting political. It's like, you know, we need to stop racism. And it's like, well, maybe if you kept propagating that racism is actually there when it's the least amount of fucking racism ever. If you keep making racism, there's so much racism when there's no racism, guess what? You're going to get more racism. So, same thing with the bike school. It's like, well, we need to teach you about stopping at, like, a stop sign and shit. And I'm like, look, wait. If you're going to motorcycle school and you already have a license, and I just need more physical practice on the fucking driving course, because it was really sneaky and shitty what they did. It was slimy. Like, the class right before you take the actual driving test at the school, because the schools are also conductors of the lessons, and so, or like of the tests, and so you can actually get your driver's license approved at these schools. You don't need to go to the DMV for this. And so I went there, and the class right before your test is one where you sit down and you learn the most stupid shit. And I got really angry, and I was like, yeah, can I go out and practice on the course? And they were like, no. And I was like, look, I already have a driver's license. This is a thing for driver's license special, like, safety shit, and I don't need this. And, like, the guy was, like, lecturing me, and I was like, dude, like, I was really pissed off. I was like, I'm spending a lot of money on this fucking shit, and I don't need to know this. I need to have another, like, fucking practical lesson. I need to get used to the bike before I take a test. And anyway, yeah, the first test I failed because there was a balance bar thing, and I fucked it up. And I had to pay another $100 to retake the test. And so, I mean, overall, like, I don't care. Like, you know, it was still a really fun experience, and I'm happy that I did that versus just trying to get a motorcycle license by myself. But the catch is that you can only get a motorcycle, you can only get a middle grade. So in motorcycle licenses, they have a light, a medium, and a heavy, like a big grade. And so I don't know if it was just that school, but at that school they had a rule that you can only get the medium-sized one, the middle, the chew level first, and then after you get that one, then you can upgrade to the bigger one. You can take the test for the bigger one, the Olgata bikes. And I was just like, nah, like, you know, I'm basically the lightweight one is up to 125 cc bikes, but if you get the middle one, that goes up to 400 cc bikes. And then the big one is just everything over 400 cc. And the thing, and they're all backwards compatible or whatever, right? So, like, you can have the big one and still drive any of the smaller ones, right? But I didn't get the big one because I could have done it. Like, the test is basically the same. And you could, like, they give you the option to be like, do you want to take the big one too or whatever? But I was just like, nah, because I knew that if I had a big bike, it would just be more trouble. You know, if a smaller one, you're not really able to go that fast and everything, and it's just like, yeah, it's probably better for me, right? But yeah, anyway, that's how you get the motorcycle license. It takes about, I'd say, 2 months realistically. I was doing it during when I was working at a Juku at the time, so I would just go in the morning to the motorcycle school, and then I'd go to the Juku afterwards. But yeah, anyway, here, let me get some coffee. So that's the bike school stuff. Ugh. Now, I noticed that I haven't said why you should get a motorcycle, and I mean, like, just to say simply, motorcycles let you experience and explore parts of Japan that you normally wouldn't be able to explore. It's that simple. You know, like, one of my buddies, he lived in Japan for 20 years and then he moved back to Australia, and he likes watching my rants, and he's like, he's like, I was in Tokyo for 20 years, and when I watch your rants, I see all these parts of the city that I never even bothered to go to just because I was always by the trains and the train station. I never branched out, and like he's like, he never had a bicycle either or anything, so he's like, your videos showed me like what Tokyo looks like, and that's really cool. And I'm like, that's the big reason why you get a motorcycle, and also just because you can cut through traffic really quickly, and so and a lot easier than if you were in a car. And again, it's one of those things where it's like, well, is lane splitting allowed in Japan? And I've never seen anybody pulled over by the cops for it, and I've never been pulled over by the cops for it. So if it's not allowed, I don't think they enforce that. I think they're just like, yeah, whatever, it's fine. They got bigger stuff to worry about, kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, like, they have the whole thing about like, why would you ride a motorcycle? Motorcycles are so dangerous to ride. And the thing is that I think that a lot of people, they are not practical when it comes to getting a vehicle, or at least they're not gauging their expectations in a realistic manner, you know, because it's like, the reason why I didn't get a big bike again is because those things can go really fast, and I know I'd get cocky one day and I'd want to floor that shit. And that's, you know, like, if you're in a car, that's one thing, but if you're on a bike, that's something completely different, right? And also, it's just like, I remember the week before I decided to sign up for bike school, because I'd been thinking about it, but I was still on the fence, you know. But I saw this, like, news article, and there was this guy, I think he was a foreigner, actually. I don't think it was Japanese, it was a foreign guy. And this foreign guy, American, in Shibuya, you know, fucking, big ups on any of you guys. If you Google that, if you can find the news article about that, that would be that'd be interesting to see. But yeah, they this guy, he was American. He died by falling down the stairs in Shibuya, and I think they found his body the next day or something. And he had just basically broken his neck falling down these stairs, like for a building, like outside, kind of smoking kind of thing or whatever, right? And it was just I was just like, wow, if you can fall, because, like, to me, that's the equivalent of, like, slipping on a banana peel and dying, you know? It's like, dude, if you're gonna if you are so worried about dangerous shit all the time, when you could be living the most healthy, Mormon, Christian, pure, non-dangerous life, and then you fucking die from falling down some stairs at karaoke or something, dude, like, fuck, man. And, yeah, that was just, I was like, yeah, fuck this, I'm getting a motorcycle, you know, like, fuck it, if you could die from a banana peel, then why not die from, you know, like, why not do something that's gonna be cool, and it's practical, and it's fun, and it's masculine, you know. That's another thing about motorcycles, too. It's a very masculine hobby, you know, like, especially with cars now, in the 2020s, right, they're all just, they look like they're made out of Fisher-Price, like, plastic, you know. They look so light. If you ever look at like, I don't know, man, like, I try to look back, or like think about, I'll have to look at it, right? Like, I'll have to, like, Google it later or like look on YouTube. But it feels like cars back in the day, well, I know for a fact they were made out of different materials, right? They were more made out of, like, more heavy metals and stuff, but, like, cars felt heavier, and they had more rigid, like, kind of right angles, so it felt more masculine. It felt more like, you know, like a practical thing. But now all these cars, especially in Japan, have all these just like fucking fake ass curves and stuff to them that are supposed to be more aerodynamic, but they're so light. Like, I know you can't pick up a car, but it's just like, it's basically like putting like, it feels like you're putting a chunk of metal engine into like this ceramic plastic or something, you know? It's like the only reason the car's not flying off of the road when it's windy is just because it's got a heavy engine in it, kind of thing. If any of you guys are car enthusiasts and I'm completely wrong about this, please let me know in the chat or in the comment section. But yeah, man, it's just like cars are really bitch ass these days. Like even these sports cars, you know, they're like all like some, not all of them, but like if I feel like whenever I see one on like a YouTube video or something, it's somebody who doesn't know how to drive manual. And like, why the fuck would you buy a sports car with automatic transmission? Like, the whole point of driving a car is that like if like a car like that is that you are in complete control and you can have complete customization over it. So why would you would you take that away? That's like the most fun part about having that. Like, come on. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. That's just something I was thinking about. But yeah, anyway, point is, motorcycles are still badass. They're still fucking cool. And yeah, I mean, like, there's nothing more masculine than just putting a bunch of tents and shit on your motorcycle and then just cruising out and going camping, you know? That's why I started the camping series here. I still have my camping gear. I just haven't ridden, you know, on it in a while. Or I haven't used it in a while. But yeah, it's just, yeah, so that's the motorcycle. That's why I got a motorcycle, because I'm like, you know what? I want something practical to take me around Tokyo. And on top of it, it's a masculine hobby to have. And also, it's just like, I don't know any other foreigners in Tokyo that have a motorcycle, except for extremely rich expats that live in, like, Roppongi or something, you know? I don't know anybody around my price range that has a motorcycle. But that's fine, you know, whatever, right? It's cool. But, yeah, and so, like, well, so that explains why you get a motorcycle. It's like, if you're gonna die from something, fuck it, you know? Take a chance, ride a motorcycle. And plus, most of the time, motorcycle accidents here in Japan, I think that they happen because somebody is, well, I don't know. I don't want to look it up. But at the same time, like, I remember there was this American guy who got killed on a motorcycle outside of Tokyo. I'd say maybe Gunma or someplace. But he was at a stoplight, and then this truck just, like, overtook everything and then rammed into him, and he died on the spot. And, yeah, like, you know, it's funny. Whenever I see... I don't really watch the news that much, or I really remember the news, but when it involves another foreigner or something, I remember it a lot more easily. But, I mean, that's one of the things you always got to take a chance on. Like, I try to... when I'm on the road, especially if it's like a road that I can lane split in, I try to get to the front of the line. So if there's anybody that's like gonna ram, like, you know, if you get to the front of the line on a road, then usually if somebody's not, like, all those people are already parked behind you. So if somebody's gonna accidentally drive and hit everybody, you've got some buffer room in between everything. And then also, if you see somebody coming or whatever, you have the chance to jump off the bike and get out of the way, more than if you were just, like, in the middle of a fucking cross. And that's the thing, too, guys. Like, I don't trust intersections, you know? When I was driving my car still, it's like, nah. Like, I'd rather be wrong and safe versus right and, like, getting in a car accident. I see a lot of car accidents, like, in the videos on YouTube, and it's usually like, well, I had the right-of-way, and this guy wasn't paying attention. And I'm like, so you just made up probably hundreds of hours with the insurance companies and going to the hospital and rehab just because you had the right of way and the other person should have been paying attention? Like, nah. When you're on the road, you assume nobody is paying attention. You're the only sober person there, and you need to be 100% careful. Like, that's like that is the mentality I have when I'm going into this stuff, and I think you guys should have it too. But anyway, yeah, that's why. And so where and how to get a motorcycle, guys, in Japan. Now, it's been a while. I realized I've probably had spaghetti for over 10 years now, and fuck yeah, that's badass. But I got spaghetti after a long search. And I tried to go the route that normal Japanese people do, which is like going to a used dealer. I tried going online first on like Yahoo Auction and stuff to find people that were selling bikes. And Yahoo Auction is basically the eBay of Japan. And a lot of people don't tell you is that a lot of these people that sell on eBay, it's like the 40-year-old version. It's an eBay store. So the Yahoo Auction has stores. So it's basically all these dealerships put their bikes on there, and they're trying to sell it. But the thing is that these used dealerships, they do a bait and switch with everybody. It's fucking slimy. Basically, what they do is they're like, oh, it's only $2,000 or something for this motorcycle. Okay. And then when you go to the dealership, you have to pay $1,000 plus extra in fees, inspection fees, but they don't actually inspect the bike. And that's what really pisses me off. They basically try to give you a lemon, like a junk thing, and they're like, oh, we checked the bike, and I'm like, oh, so you checked the transmission, you checked the axle, you checked the wheels, you checked the brakes? No, we didn't do any of that. And I'm like, wait, so why am I paying you an extra $1,000? Well, it's for us to do the inspection. Yeah, but you just said you don't really inspect anything. And they're like, look, asshole, you just got to sign the line. I'm like, I'm not signing shit. And so a lot of places did that. I don't know if they still do that. And it's like, well, why don't you just go to a new dealership? And I think that, I don't know. I think that if you have the money to buy a new one, then Godspeed, do it. But if you're learning how to drive for the first time or whatever with this stuff, then you need training wheels. And I think training wheels means you get a cheap-ass bike, And then once you get used to that and you get used to everything, then you upgrade to a better bike. That's always been my mindset. And so I'd gone to I'd spent like 3 months going to different dealerships and checking out stuff. Because if you wanted to buy a new motorcycle, it would be at least bare minimum $5,000, And on top of that, they don't report on it that much, but a lot of fucking cars and motorcycles get stolen these days, especially the new ones. Like people, like fucking whatever, not Yakuza, but technically, not technically Yakuza, but Yakuza, like crime organizations. They steal new bikes and new cars, and then they scrap them and they sell them overseas. And it happens all the time in Japan, and people never talk about it. And so when you have a used old clanker, that's pretty much guaranteeing that no one's going to steal your bike. And that's a good thing, So that's why I bought a used Spaghettiums. Now, I got, luckily, now, I don't know about now, but back then I used Craigslist on occasion. And Craigslist was great because it was mostly, nobody knew about it at the time, so there weren't a lot of grifters on there. And so I found this guy selling a motorcycle in Omotesando, and it looked pretty decent. So I was like, okay, I'll check it out. I end up going to Omotesando. The guy picks me up on his bike, and he's like, let's just ride it to my apartment. And I'd never ridden bitch before, and so, like, I hooked my arms, because, like, I didn't want to hold on to the bike. And so, like, I hooked my arms around him like a seatbelt. I'm like, okay, and it was so gay. It was so gay. He smelled good, too, by the way, so it's just the balls were touching. Yeah, anyway, his name was Casio, and he ended up, he was actually, like, a really professional photographer. He had, like done photos for, like, Leonardo DiCaprio and Mariah Carey. Basically, when celebrities would come to Japan, they would hire him to film them. And the guy was awesome. He was just this guy who lived off of smoothies and caffeine and cigarettes. And the guy was fucking cool, man. And, yeah, he now he's actually in Brazil. I think he has a YouTube channel now. But he moved to Brazil. He was Brazilian. He'd been here for a while, but he moved back to Brazil, and I think he's doing the van life there. It's very cool. But anyway, yeah, he ended up selling me spaghetti for $900, 90,000 yen. And spaghetti was in pretty decent shape back then. Yeah, and I've probably spent thousands of dollars on maintenance for spaghetti over the years, but that's how I ended up getting the bike. Instead of spending $3,000 on a lemon from some sketch-ass used place, I got this one. It was fine. you know, it worked out great. It worked out awesome. And then, again, I've probably put thousands of dollars into maintenance onto Spaghetti over the course of many years. But Spaghetti's been good, you know. I mean, like, one thing you got to remember with vehicles is that they do have wear and tear. It's the same thing as buying a house versus renting a house, right? If you rent a house, something happens, the owner takes care of it. But if you buy it, you got to take care of it. And so, with the motorcycle too, you have to replace the brakes, you have to replace the wheels, you got to give it an oil change, all this shit. You got to do that regularly, and yeah, no, I mean, Spaghetti's, and I named him, and people sometimes forget why I named him Spaghetti, and there's two reasons, and the reason why is that one, Aqua Teen Hunger Force Hand Banana episode, look it up, you'll know what I'm talking about. And then also, a lot of women here, they name their dogs like stupid food things. So like girls really love desserts in Japan. I don't know about other places, but they love desserts here. And so they like to call their dogs like chocolate and marshmallow and shit and all this stupid shit. And so, yeah, they call them that, and it's funny. And so I was like, well, I'm going to get a motorcycle. I'm going to name it something super like masculine and hearty, like Spaghetti. And so anyway, yeah, I named him Spaghetti, and he's been my buddy, and I've made a lot of my motorcycle rants with him, and I'm going to continue making them once it gets warmer outside. I will continue making more Spaghetti rants. But anyway, yeah, that's how I got a motorcycle in Japan. Now, one of the reasons why I got Spaghetti is that he's a 250cc motorcycle. Now, if you have a motorcycle that's 400 cc's or more, you have to give it a shock end every year. And a shock end is basically an emissions test and a safety test for your motorcycle. And it's basically a way of Japan checking in on how many people are driving retro cars, because they want to be all like, you know, like, oh, it's supposed to have zero emissions, and we need to be able to put an OnStar kill switch on it so we can stop the car, and bad and government, blah blah blah. Anyway, so yeah, but if you have a motorcycle that's under 400 cc's, like Spaghetti is only 250 cc's, and so you only need to take an emissions test then, or no, you only have to do that once, and then you just pay your tax every year on it, and then you're good, and you can keep the motorcycle, and you don't need to do an emissions test, I think, ever again, for the most part, because it's such a small motorcycle. It's not taking up, it's not giving up a lot of pollution into the air, because it's so small. And I forgot why you don't need to have the safety test happen to it every year. But it's nice. It's convenient. And, yeah, and it saves you money, too. Because if you do the emissions test and the shock end, that's at least a couple $100 each time you do it. Even if you do it yourself. And it's so funny because that test is such bullshit, too. They don't check your brakes. I think they check your axle, maybe. But, like, they do not do any kind of inspection that's worthy, in my opinion, of that. And so, and it's like, you're checking to make sure my car is not broken, I understand, but like, you're not checking anything that would actually qualify it to be safe. So you're just thinking of a way to get money out of me, you piece of shit. Anyway, point is, guys, it's almost at the end of this rant, and was it informative? Did it help any of you guys kind of figure out what you want to do with getting a motorcycle? I think we covered everything. We covered like a little history and why I got a motorcycle, and how to get the license, how to get the motorcycle, where to buy it. And I suggest too, guys, avoid big dealerships. You know, avoid big places that are like that are big places. Like, you want a mom and pop place to fix your bike, because if it's a good place, like the old guy that used to take care of my bike, rest in peace, old man. Those guys are always doing sketchy shit, and they're always coming across parts that you know, fell off the back of a truck kind of thing, and usually they'll hook up everything for you for pretty cheap. And so if you go to the big dealerships, ironically, they're gonna rip you off even more. If you look up, what was the name of that place? I think it's something Autocross or whatever. There was a big scandal a year or two about how this car dealership or this car shop that's all around Japan, they were purposely like sabotaging people's cars when they came in for a checkup just to get more money out of them. They basically created a problem and then had to fix the problem. It was really sleazy shyster shit. And but anyway, yeah. So always, you know, I don't know. The whole thing is too, if the person likes you, they'll work harder. And like right now, it's great. My bike mechanic is a guy who's he's traveled the world. He's I guess he's still technically. He's a motorcycle. He's a professional motorcycle racer, but he doesn't race on a course. He does those ones that are like across the country kind of thing, like the bubblegum race or whatever they do in Europe. He does shit like that, but for motorcycles. Anyway, he's a cool dude, and yeah. So you gotta just find people that mesh with you and that are gonna not rip you off, and it's great. But anyway, guys, that's it for today's rant. I realized I didn't ask a question. I guess the question of the day is. Do you have a motorcycle? Would you ever, if somebody gave you a free motorcycle, would you ride it? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, just smash the like button, and don't forget to subscribe button, subscribe bell, and we're going to probably do a live stream after this too. Guys, for the love of God, leave a comment and smash like. It helps out with the algorithm, and you're very sexual. I think you're very attractive, and you're doing good today, and I'm proud of you guys. So anyway, I'm out of here. You stay black. Otsukaresama deshita. And, yep, peace out.